Hello, today is 11/19 of 25, and I am here with a video of what I eat in a day on my keto journey. If you're new here, my name is Christy. I changed my diet to a high protein, moderate fat, low carb diet in April of 2024. It is actually very, very early in the morning. It's still dark out. I am making what we are going to have for lunch, and it's going to take 6 hours to cook in my slow cooker. So I got up early, like 4 o'clock in the morning, so that I could get it cooking. I am making a chicken chili that I love. I love this recipe. Now, it calls for black beans. I'm going to have black beans in my chili. It also calls for corn. So that's what I've got here. I'm not going to put the corn in now. I am going to pass on the corn, but I have it available so that my family can add corn to their chili when the time comes to eat it. So I'm going to walk you through getting this recipe together. Super easy. I've got my slow cooker pot. I'm going to add in half of a diced onion and my 15-ounce can, I think that's what it is, of black beans that I drained and rinsed. I have a can of diced tomatoes with green chilies, 10.5 ounces. Yep, in that can, and I did not drain it. When you add the corn, if I were adding the corn to this, I also would not drain the corn. I would leave the corn as is. Okay, then I need some garlic. I need the equivalent of 2 cloves of garlic, which I believe is a half teaspoon per clove. No, 1 teaspoon per clove. So I need 2 teaspoons of minced garlic. And then I need ranch dip mix, which I know I can make my own, which is going to be very clean. This has maltodextrin in it. I already bought it. I didn't look at the ingredients before I bought it, so I'm just going to use it, but I'll remember next time, hey, I probably just want to mix together something of my own. So I'm just going to get that packet in there. And then I need a number of seasonings. So I need a half teaspoon of ground black pepper and a half teaspoon of garlic powder. I need a 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne. And then I need a full teaspoon, but I don't want to use that same teaspoon because it has garlic on it. Okay, so I need a teaspoon of ground cumin, a teaspoon of onion powder, and then a tablespoon of chili powder. It's hard to get a tablespoon out of my little containers. There we go. And then I'm just going to mix these together. And so the original recipe, which I will link to, calls for actually sauteing the onion and garlic in a bit of oil first. I've made this recipe so many times and I don't really see a difference when I make it that way, like taking that step or just doing it this way. So I do it the easy way. Now, because I'm not adding the corn with the liquid, I am going to add just a little bit of broth to this. I've got some chicken broth here, so I'll just add in, I don't know, 1/4 of a cup to kind of make up for that lost liquid. I don't know that it matters a ton, but I'll do it just to make sure. And then I want to add my chicken. So I have 2 halves of a chicken breast, or you might know them as one chicken breast, but it's really, this is a whole breast, and so it's 2 sides of that breast. It's 1.5 pounds is what I have here. So I've got those in there, and I'm going to give it another kind of stir. Like, I can't really stir the chicken in, but I do want to kind of get some of these ingredients up on top of my chicken just to help add like flavor to the chicken as it is cooking. And then I need 8 ounces of cream cheese. I'm just going to get it plopped on top, and that's where it will stay while it is cooking for 6 hours on low. And then I'll come back and take the next steps. My chili is done. I left to take my son to Taekwondo and I came home and the final steps were already taken for me. I don't know if it was my husband or my daughter who did it. But basically, you just shred the chicken up and mix everything together and then it is ready for you. I will be sure to link to this recipe in the description below. I've also topped mine with about a quarter of an avocado that I have left over from yesterday. It is 4:30. I did have coffee with my chili this morning and a donut from Conscious Comforts, which is a local bakery in my area that makes gluten-free, sugar-free donuts. I am now ready to make my last meal of the day, and I'm super excited. I am trying a new recipe. It is for fathead dough gnocchi. I love gnocchi, so I'm hoping that it turns out well. And then I'm going to make it with a chicken Asiago cream sauce dish that I'm just going to kind of make up as I go. So the recipe calls for getting the gnocchi together and then baking it in your oven for, I think it's like 8 to 12 minutes. So that's what I'm going to do, even though I'm then going to put it back in the oven with my chicken Asiago dish, just because I'm not sure that if I just left it like raw, um, that it would just kind of like melt into the dish. So I do want it to be like firm pieces of gnocchi. So I am going to actually bake it according to the directions and then bake it again with my dish. So I have here a quarter cup or 28 grams of coconut flour, a half teaspoon of garlic powder, and a half teaspoon of xanthan gum. I'm just going to get those mixed together just to give them a head start. And then I have 6 ounces or 170 grams of shredded mozzarella cheese. I'm going to get this into my microwave and get it melted. Okay, so I've got my cheese melted. I'm going to get my flour mixture added and 1 egg. And then I'm supposed to stir these together until mostly combined, but some streaks remain. And then I'm supposed to use my hands to kind of get it all together. I'm not sure if I really like doing it this way. I feel like I now have like cooked egg in there, like egg yolk. That's, you know, just pieces of egg. So I'm going to start working it with my hands. Okay, I think this looks pretty good. So now I need to roll it out into a couple of logs. I think it's more like squeezing it out into a couple of logs. We'll call that good. I don't know. I've never made real gnocchi either, so. Now, I'm going to cut it into gnocchi. Okay, so I've got all my pieces. I'm going to get this into the oven, set at 350 for 10 to 12 minutes. I have a skillet here. I've sprayed it with just a little bit of avocado oil. I am going to add to it half of an onion that I've diced up pretty finely, along with a teaspoon of minced garlic. I think I have it a little too hot. I don't want to make my garlic bitter. I'm just going to let these cook down a little bit. I think I'll add some salt and pepper to them. And then while I'm waiting for that, I've got some Asiago cheese here. I'm just going to shred up, I don't know, maybe 2 ounces. Okay, and then I'm going to add to it some spinach. I've got some baby spinach here. I'm just going to kind of tear it apart. and let it wilt down a bit. And I'm gonna add in maybe about a quarter cup of heavy cream. And then my Asiago cheese. And I'll just kind of let this get melted and let that spinach get welted down. And then while I am waiting for that, I have some chicken thighs here, and I'm just going to get these into my baking dish. And I'll probably season these with some salt and pepper just to make sure I have seasoning on every layer. I know they'll get some flavor from that sauce too, but I want to make sure. And my sauce is ready. I'm just going to pour this over the top. Oh, it smells really good. I hope it is really good. I make some things and I'm just like, wow, this is amazing. And then I try other things and it's like, what in the world was I thinking? All right, so now I'm just going to wait for that gnocchi to get done. My gnocchi are done. I think I actually let them cook just a little too long because I kind of got cheese coming out, but maybe it'll be okay. I'm going to get these into, they're nice and firm. I'm going to get these into my dish. All right, we'll call that good. So I'm going to bake these for, I don't know, 20 to 30 minutes. Actually, I changed my mind. I think I'm going to cover it and bake it. I have my meal ready. The sauce is pretty thin. It's pretty watery. I wish I had like maybe added some xanthan gum or something to it to make it a little thicker, but we're going to try it. The flavor of the sauce is really nice, but again, I wish it was thicker because I'm just not getting much of it with my chicken. So it mostly just tastes like chicken. So I am a little disappointed about that. I think next time I would like add a thickener to help it to kind of stick to my chicken a little bit more. Okay, so I'm gonna try one of the gnocchi. It's okay. Um, it mostly just tastes like cheese. It does kind of have that texture of gnocchi, so that's nice. But it definitely like has like a pretty strong cheese flavor to it. So I mean, I think it's good. I think that it is a way to use fathead dough like in a recipe to kind of like make like a dumpling or something like that. But it doesn't have like a bready texture to it, which usually when I make a fathead dough, it does have more of a bready texture than this one does. So maybe I would use a different fathead dough recipe that it has more of like a bread texture to it. But I do like the idea of it. Like I think it can be good in some recipes. All right, so I'm gonna eat my dinner, and I don't know if I need anything else today. Update on the chicken dish. My whole family really enjoyed it, so that was really nice. I'm glad I was able to make them something that they enjoyed. They enjoyed the sauce and the chicken and the gnocchi, so very, very nice. Um, I am a bit short on my protein today. I'm okay on my calories. I still have some things to do, so I think I could end up in a high caloric deficit today. And I've had a high caloric deficit the last couple of days and not met my protein goals over the last couple of days. So I do want to make sure that I'm kind of hitting those. So I decided to make myself some hot cocoa. I used 1 cup of Fairlife 2% milk and a serving of Fit Crunch Chocolate Deluxe protein powder, and then a little bit of salt. It's very, very good. I actually like it better. So I use the cup of milk, but then I also add probably at least a quarter cup, maybe even a half cup of water. And I actually like that better than just the milk. So that seems interesting to me, but I do like it a little bit thinner with this protein powder. So I add in some water, heat it up in my microwave, and then just added the protein powder. Do add the protein powder after heating it because otherwise it doesn't break down as well, and it can kind of dry it out. Whey protein when it's heated like that can like get dry. So you do want to add the protein powder after you have warmed the liquid. So let's take a look at how my day turned out. I went skating and I ended up burning over 1,100 calories like total today. So I was in a pretty high caloric deficit. I'm still in a fairly high caloric deficit. But when I got home, I did eat a chef's cut beef stick. These are my favorite beef sticks, just to try and help a little bit. I really don't want any more. I'm not hungry for anything else. But I just wanted to kind of like help a little bit because I have been in such a caloric deficit over the last couple of days. Um, I'm gonna try not to worry about it. Like, that's kind of what I've been trying to do, but it has been a few days, and I just wasn't hungry today, which I normally will be, like, if I have a couple days where I have a pretty high caloric deficit, and I'm just not. So, hopefully tomorrow. I ended up with about 1,800 calories. My protein is 197, my net carbs are 38, and my fat is 88. So, maybe I'll see you tomorrow.